Hi, in this session of AI Tool Sneak Peek, I cover a topic that is quite close to my heart, especially during the times that I was leading large engineering teams and large projects. So there was this activity that I institutionalized with every large project, and eventually we started doing it more often with even low stakes project was something that I call as pre-mortems. So in this session, I'll be focusing on how we can use Gen AI, the modern day AI models, to conduct in-depth pre-mortems. But before that, for starters, what is a pre-mortem? Think of pre-mortem as something, it's a structured exercise. It is a process which is done before you launch a major initiative. And in this, the team gets together, at least the core team gets together, where uh, you know people take their thinking from current to 2 years down the line or a prescribed time down the line and try to imagine that project has failed and try to map back the reason why the product a project would have failed. And it is a sort of a scenario, sort of a safe, psychologically safe scenario in which uh, team assumes the hypothetical failure points that might happen in the future with the intention to list these failure points out and put them in the mitigation strategy. That is, we have imagined the future and future has failed. And the reason the future would have failed, we anticipate and try to knock off, the variable that would have caused the failure to happen. All in all, it was a very useful exercise to engage team uh, and to future proof or in Japanese methodologies there is the term that I used I learned in my engineering days was something which is called as pokayuke, which is to foolproof a technology or foolproof a process so that the errors do not happen. In some cases pre-mortems helps us achieve that, the foolproofing of our strategy, but it is not easy to do pre-mortem, and there are various reasons for that that I've seen play out in in my experience in the past. Pre-mortems, there is a confirmation bias. So there are teams who have kind of worked very hard to come up with a strategy or a product or something which is going out in the market, and of course they are invested to make that successful, and that whole act that they are invested to make the project successful holds people back often to imagine it being failed in the times to come. Second is also a fear factor. Like if there is not enough psychological safety in the meeting setting, then people uh, can feel that the seniors in the room may think that you are betting against the success of the team. And because of these reasons, the session, pre-mortem session, tends to be a formalities many cases, and people just say things for the sake of saying without really getting into the skin of the role that they are supposed to play. So, in our interaction with quite a few customers across industry sectors in the last few months, we did uh, initiate this idea and see it being implemented successfully. That how could we do pre-mortem using AI? And why AI? Because in our experiments, which we did in our own company, and as we educated more and more customers, AI, using AI can help us really come up with this list of failure points easily that the team can discuss in the pre-mortem meeting without getting into these biases which often play when humans are at play. And how do you do that? How do you engage AI there? For example, there is a strategy. For example, I studied TCS's recent earnings call announcement, and through, of course, AI tool like Perplexity, etc., came up with what kind of strategy they are looking at in the time to come in 2025 and beyond. And I noted a few points that you can see on your screen here. So this is a strategy which kind of has been built, uh, by a team of super smart individual. And what I'm trying to do as a part of this demonstration is this is all from the live data that and some analysis that I did with the help of AI tools that would like to run a pre-mortem on this strategy. Okay. Um, so what I will do now is to go to a prompt that I have designed. So prompt, as you can see here, uh, it starts with there is a strategy chosen. There is a separate section for that. And we are already setting up the model to think that this has failed. Now you're in the future and this strategy has failed 2 years after implementation. And the task is to conduct pre-mortem analysis, working backwards from the failure to identify what could have gone wrong. I didn't stop at that. I think you can try just this and you'll get a lot of good insights. But since we wanted to go very specific, I asked the model to basically come up with a very response to a very specific questions which are here, which are specific to external shocks, internal weaknesses, flawed assumptions, and early warning signs, etc. And then I asked it, like, if you go back, what three specific safeguards or contingency plan would you embed in the strategy before launch? And this question is important because the whole purpose of pre-mortem is to fail safe the strategy as much as possible. And then, of course, be brutally honest. Your goal is not to defend strategy, but to make it failure proof. So to run this pre-mortem analysis, I choose ChatGPT's new model, which is O3. Why O3? Because O3 model is quite. It's a reasoning model, which means that it kind of has this ability to break the problem down and go use the reasoning time tokens to come up with uh, a very in-depth analysis of the problem which is given. Predominantly, it is said to be for STEM use cases, but it has a great applicability in the strategy scenario. So what I did was I copied this prompt over. I'm in ChatGPT interface now. I've already copied this over. So all that I need to do is this section called as strategy chosen that you see on your screen. I just insert the final strategy description here. So what I need to do is to go to the document that I was showing you some time back, and I just copy the whole strategy in here. So it is important to understand that uh, I'm not doing any formatting changes here, and the main reason for that is that the AI models, one of the fundamentally are awesome at creating structure from the unstructured conversation. So what I'll do is I'll just you know copy this. I'll just change the model to O3 for the demonstration purposes. It takes a bit of time sometimes, but let's see. I'll just run this here and it will get into the thinking mode. Like I said, these models have this capability. O3 and O series model, typically in ChatGPT, have this capability to think on the runtime. And these are the thinking model. And after a while, we'll be able to see the thinking trail on how it broke down the problem, how it thought about the solution. And O3 has, while it is doing the thinking, one of the key features of O3 or capability is that it can has this ability to call the tools at the runtime. What I mean by tools is, so ChatGPT has inbuilt 8 or 9 tools, one of which is web search, other is visual analysis, the image analysis, then third is the code generation, and so on and so forth. And the model has the capability to decide on the runtime based on the problem that it has broken down on which tool to call when, and which is a game changer when it comes to the AI model, the future of AI model. This is a true AI system at display, not just the AI model system, because it has those agentic capabilities at the runtime. It can call the tools and make the decisions on what tool to call when, etc. So we have the response here as I was speaking, and let's look at the thinking trail. So it thought for 50 seconds. Like I was saying, it called the tools, like it searched the web, and then it kind of thinking out loud. Like if you say, I'll highlight early warning signs, etc. So this is model's ability to think out loud as it is going further. So pre-mortem analysis, as you see, why most promising plan crashed in 24 months. And these are the stuff that it did an in-depth analysis. It didn't like just make up stuff. It went to the web, tried to collect the facts, and check and come up with a lot of points which are here, which the team may have thought, but many would have been mired by the biases too. And it started to answer all the questions that I had asked it to, external shocks, then there is where the execution broke, etc., missing or weak feedback loop. And then it did give an opinion on if we could rewind the three safeguards, what they would have done overall, right? And these becomes the input for strengthening or future proofing the process that is there at the time of launch. And you can continue to have a conversation with this output and get to a very specific output that you want and strengthen your plan. So this is the benefit of pre-mortem analysis, which is made much simplified, much easier with the help of uh, the O3 model or generative AI overall. So what I'm saying is not to just use what the tool throws at you, without giving it thought. The way we use it, and I have seen successful implementation of pre-mortem processes, that this is the output that tool throws out is treated as the first draft of pre-mortem, which is taken to the meeting where the team is involved. We run through the various points which are listed there. People are encouraged to think more because the fear factor is gone because someone else has done the bad news delivery already, and all that you need to do is to build on top of this and take things further. Quite a powerful process, pre-mortem process, and it to be implemented uh, using the advanced capabilities of these models like O3 models here. I hope you found this idea useful. If you did, do leave a comment and uh, share like how you used it or how you plan to use this process moving forward. And with this, I'll take a leave and we'll be back next week with a new use case, hopefully a new tool. And till then, take good care of yourself. See you. Bye bye.